Um, Coating it, injection molding is another thing which definitely needs a lot. Already has gone through a lot of innovation, and they can do a lot of these things. I don't think there is a challenge in terms of these polymers being injection molded. This has already been done. Viscosity, yes, definitely. I think that viscoelasticity, the yield strength, and the elasticity. So one thing is that very critical is that the stretchability of these polymers, like how well they can be stretched, how much percentage. So a lot of companies are working on stretchable polymers and stretchable inks at the same time. So you have a graduate which is printed and you are putting it on your textile or your conform on your skin or something where you're constantly stretching and stretching. So you need that polymer to be extremely high flexibility, elasticity, and also to sustain that amount of stretchability. So there are a lot of companies I know they're doing innovative ways of making the polymer, the chemistry, and also the design of these devices is also very interesting. Like they are doing a lot of one of these companies I know, I cannot tell their name. They're very innovative. They are doing this spider web based kind of designs which can stretch to 20 to 30% these polymers. So there's a lot of innovation. I think yes, integration of these polymers. I mean, I can name a lot of polymers: PMMS, PIDs, PEN, PETs. Like people are working in the VTT side, but I'm sure that some of the devices which needs the transparency is definitely the I think that it's very critical for some of the devices to have durability and then also the compatibility with the inks. Like low surface roughness is also very important. Like when you print these inks.
Compatibility, you mean that in an aging test there's no delamination, chemical compatibility?
Exactly.
Sorry?
Yes, so all of this. So when we do these bending tests here, with time, the delamination, like how we can exfoliate, the exfoliation properties, the contact, the interfaces, right? So we do a lot of interface studies. It needs to be very robust. We study the interfacial strain. So the strain, stress, these are the things which are very critical. The ability to put them in roll-to-roll processes, right? I mean, it needs to be bendable. It needs to be definitely thinned down to microns level without stretching or maybe delaminating or even without cracking. A lot of things are critical in this space. So I think definitely the aesthetics are also very important. Like if the polymer is black or it doesn't look good, it doesn't really add a lot of value. It needs to be very shiny, luscious. So the roughness is also critical. Those are the few things, which are coming in my mind. Right?
In terms of the material for overmolding, imagine that you have, I assume that the standard configuration for immobilized electronics is going to be one film with the decorative and the conductive inks, and then you are overmold with thermoplastic. Is there any issue nowadays with the washout of the inks, conductive inks, and potentially damage of the electronics because of the melting temperature of the polymer? Is this something that you are aware about, or it is an issue?
Yes, that's a very good question. I think, yes. So again, the overmolding process requires some temperature, right? So that temperature is also, if the ink cannot sustain that temperature or it changes its structure. I know this silver-based inks, 200 degrees centigrade and above, it becomes a little bit shady. The carbon nanotube-based inks are much better in that sense. Yes, washability, it can wash out, definitely. The registering capability can go away. Hardness or even the friction which happens while you're overmolding. I think, yes, I kind of overlooked that, but yes, that is one of those considerations while you're doing the overmolding particularly, when already the printing